All right. The dirty little secret about trailer and condensation and humidity. See in this bucket? It's a 5-gallon bucket. There's probably half a cup of water down there. Where's that water coming from? Well, it's dripping from it's not dripping from like up above anywhere on my nose cap. It's dripping from here. So where the rock shield is, or meets the trailer, condensation is building up. There's a tube. This is a tube right here. And this tube also runs along here from the roof. But this tube, it's just, there's moisture. I don't know. It's like, so to me, this is a design flaw. And so people from Forest River, if you're watching this tube is, I think, collecting heat. So you get cold from the outside, heat from the inside, and there's getting moisture built up. I don't know if it's in the tube or around the tube or whatever this is, or if it's just a half tube. But this right here, you can see I have drip marks that run down this, and you can actually see right here is actually a wet one. This is actually wet. And it drips down, you can see more water right here. And it drips down. And there's another tube down here. And it's kind of full of water, but the low point is down here. At one point I had water on the ground. You can see the water drops right there. At one point, water was dripping on the ground, and I was like, where is this water coming from? And then I noticed I had these drips, and they were coming down the rock shield. And it's not really even a rock shield. This should be, I think, a little bit stronger. But so there's no water pipes or anything on the other side of this. My intake water is on the side of the trailer, and it kind of goes down and drops into the water tank. So there's no water pipes in here. This is purely condensation. It's not humidity because, well, it's artificial humidity, if you want to call it, because I'm heating the trailer on the inside, and then we're in the barn inside. It's cold on the outside. So, and that's a lot of water. So that water is happening to your trailer wherever it is. I mean, if it's sitting outside, it's probably all the same temperature, climate control. But I mean, climate-wise, if you're sitting someplace like in Vegas, if your RV is parked in Vegas and you get 45, 50 degrees during the day, even if it's in a covered parking area, but then at night it drops down to like in the 30s or low 40s, you're getting the same thing that's happening right here, probably around your trailer. And it's going to be condensation buildup. You're going to get these plastic pieces are going to get really hot in the summer, and then at night the condensation, the heat inside is going to get cold, and it's going to create a lot of condensation and moisture. So I can see where this is going to be problematic for maintenance, because it's going to loosen the caulking and the joints and everything all the way around the trailer. And it's not necessarily a manufacturing issue, but I think this part of the trailer, I think, is potentially this tube that they're using all along the edges of the trailer could be part of a culprit for basically long-term maintenance issues. Now, let me show you something else. So inside the pass-through storage, this section right here is where the bed is inside the trailer. Over there, you can't really see it, but right up in there is where the intake water pipe comes in, but it goes that way and then drops into the water tank, there's two water tanks. There's one right beside here, and I think there's one over there. And then I've got a little under the underbed storage. But so here, right up in here is where the that water line is, where the two meet. The rock guard meets the nose cap. And there's no water pipes or anything there. There's some wires there, wiring, but no water pipes. It's just this metal aluminum framing. But when I opened this up one day, I had a puddle of water right down here in the corner, and I put this is a water sensor. So if you don't have these water sensors, this is by Govee, Govee. They have already saved me, and I know they've saved others. So they're just a water sensor, and you can put them any place that you think that there might be water. They have little sensors on the bottom, and if they get dripped on or if the water gets too bad, it'll send an alarm off. And you can buy, there's a sensor that you can buy that will connect to a sensor, and then it'll connect to your phone. So you actually get a water alert sent to your phone if you buy the sensor, which I was going to do, but I haven't done it yet. So anyways, I had a little moisture and water built up right here, not on the other side, but like on this side, because this is the low point. So I cleaned that up, and I decided to, sounds really tacky and really dumb, but I put a little bit of duct tape there, but it doesn't really stick too well because of the Duratane, but it does stick a little bit. And I put my chair here, and I'm propping my door open a crack to let some airflow from the other side. The other side is also open, and this side's open to hopefully keep a little airflow going. Now, let me show you something else. So I knew about the water on the outside, but I didn't find any water on the inside until today. So what happened today was, where did I find the water at? Something happened, and I noticed some water, but I had a lot of water. This is the slide, right, that goes to the outside. So this is getting a lot of the cold air, but there was a lot of moisture right there. I could see some moisture all the way down, and then the water was puddled up in the back. And so what I did is I went through and checked every cupboard. A little bit of moisture there, a little bit of moisture on this exit, on this part of the slide here. I had very little moisture. I had a little bit of moisture back in this corner. This is a slide out back in that corner, a little bit, not a lot. We had a little bit. Sorry, it's kind of messy, but we're doing laundry today, so all our bed sheets are being washed. But there was a drop of moisture back in that cupboard. I didn't see any in the up above, and in the kitchen area I didn't see any either. But I checked in the bathroom, I checked the cupboards in the bathroom, I checked everywhere, and I did not find any more moisture. So what I've done is I've actually gone through and opened up all my cupboards instead of latching them all down. Every one of them now, except for the kitchen ones, are sorry, like I said, a big mess. We're getting ready for our trip, so we're going through all of our cupboards again and reorganizing. But I've started to I cracked everything open, so this is all open airflow. I even left one of these open in the center, but all of the cupboards now are being left open to get airflow. And I got that one open, and I got that one open, and I got this one open, just so that there's a little airflow going to go into these. Now, so the heat, we always run the heater, but we don't run it super hot in here. I do have a couple of heaters. I run one during the day, and then I run this one at night. But I usually run them, I usually don't let my temperature inside the trailer get, like when we're not in the trailer, I turn it down so that the thermostat says something like about 63 degrees, 63 or so. At night, I turn the heater down to 60 at night. So and then when we're in here, the thermostat on the wall will usually register about 69 or so, 70. And we're usually very comfortable with that. But I just wanted to throw that out to you guys with your trailers and RV, and something that we discovered that even though this would be considered like indoor storage, but it's not climate control. There is that hot and cold. And so like if you're in hot places, like I said, Vegas and LA and Arizona, and you have hot and cold throughout the night and day in your trailer, you could be having a lot of mold, because that's another thing that happened too. My wife, her shoes, even though her shoes were there, her shoes started to have a little bit of mold on them, little white mold growing on the ends, and I had to clean that up. So it has to do with airflow. I do have only one little of these little RV dehumidifiers back in here. I think they're called EV. I'll do a review on these guys later. I really do like, I don't know how well they work. Well, obviously don't work very well, but the EvaDry, they do collect moisture, but they are not a dehumidifier like this one. And I just actually started to run this one, but we run this one when we're out and about when it's warm to dehumidify, and it does collect water and we have to empty it. But we're talking condensation. So condensation, when your inside is hot and the outside is cold, and then the weather changes, so you're going to get that buildup. So for all of you guys with RVs, you might want to look at your corners when if your trailer is in storage. Just be aware if it's going through heat and cold, and look at the corners. I mean, don't just open it up and say, oh, we're fine, and it looks fine. You pull everything out, check the corners in the back, especially like the slides, corners in the back. And then like in here, I reached up in here and I was, oh, this is fine, until I reached down in and got into the corner. It was wet. And we shelf lined everything. Under the shelf liner was wet. So just be aware, even if your trailer is undercover or in storage, if it's getting that hot and cold, you might want to open up your cupboards while it's in storage so that there's a little bit more airflow. Now, this might be totally different when these slides are in versus out, but because this is the outside wall now, so when it's in, that becomes the outside wall. I might worry about condensation down there, which is hard to see, down in the corner where there's carpet, but it's not wet in the corners. And that's another thing. One more thing before I shut this little clip off. You can't see my fingers, but there's a little bit of sparkliness on them. And what I noticed in your trailers, I don't know if your trailer is the same way, but when we went through our trailer, there was fiberglass fibers all over the wall, coating the whole wall, everywhere. I went through and wiped down our whole entire trailer, just to make sure about fiberglass. I noticed our coats, you can't see that right there, but our coats inside the closet were coming out with a little sheen on them, and that's fiberglass. Just another thing that you might want to wipe down your walls because you're breathing in that fiberglass, those fibers. So that's it. That's just my be aware moment for RV living.